Yes, we are back live. Welcome back, everyone. And if you're new, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Scurv X here of landscurvx.com. If you look at the bottom of the banner, you'll see the website. That's where I want everybody to go. That's where you'll find everything that we do that you may not see here. We're going to go back to the old format that everybody loved. What I'm going to do is chop up a few topics, and then we'll open the lines. I want to take time, nice and slow, and go through everything and make sure that everything is right. It's been crazy with the weather here. The rain, this is the rainy season in West Africa. And so there are a lot of unexpected things that will pop up in your day if you don't have a plan B. Welcome, Sister Queen Diane. Thank you for being here. Now I'm really boosted. The title of today's show, which really is one title, but there's several things that may not necessarily match with the title. And it's what happened to truth in the digital age, the age of uncertainty, power, reputation, money, and control in a fast-changing world. If I can check with you, Sister Queen Diane, is the sound coming through fine? Just let me know. And if at any point that I fade out or there's a power outage, I'll blink out, but I'll come back in about 90 seconds to 2 minutes because I haven't set it up that way. But other than that, let's get down on these points, and then we can have a good discussion if it's in the cards for tonight. There's a growing feeling that something fundamental has changed in a way truth moves through society. My throat's a little dry, so I'm going to talk a little slow. I may have to take a pause and put some water near me, which I forgot. It feels slower when it should be faster, and louder when it should be clearer. People are watching events unfold in real time, yet still feel like they are only getting part of the story. And the feeling is right. We live in an era where information is everywhere, but understanding is harder to find. Every headline competes with another. Every clip can be edited. Every statement can be questioned. And the average person is left trying to piece together reality from fragments. This is not just about technology. This is about trust. And trust is the foundation of how people see institutions, celebrities, and even each other. When that foundation shakes, everything else starts to feel unstable. And that is exactly what many people are sensing right now. See, we don't know what to believe. We're living in a strange contradiction. News travels instantly, but clarity takes time. Rumors spread in seconds, but truth takes months or even years to fully settle. By the time the full picture comes out, public opinion has already been shaped, reshaped, and emotionally locked in. This creates confusion, frustration, and distrust. People are no longer just asking what happened. They're asking why it took so long for anything to be said at all. This delay between truth and exposure has become one of the defining features of the modern digital age. When we talk about the entertainment industry, we're not just talking about music, movies, or fame. We're talking about an entire system built on access, influence, and image control. In Hollywood and the wider entertainment world, silence is often part of that structure. Not always because people do not know things, but because knowing things does not always lead to speaking out. There are careers, relationships, contracts, and opportunities tied to proximity. And when survival depends on access, silence can become a form of protection. This is why, when controversies emerge, the public reaction is rarely just about the individual's situation. It becomes about the entire system surrounding it. People begin asking how long things were known, who had insight, and who chose to remain quiet while benefiting from the environment. This is where frustration builds, because the public often feels like they're the last to know what many inside circles already understood. And let me tell you something. From my perspective, which I don't know everybody, I'm not saying I know anybody, but snippets have come my way that have lined up, and I've come to know a whole lot through people who know people. Things that I can't say, I can't repeat, because I might wake up in the coffin. It's that serious. So silence is a form of protection, because if you open your mouth in those inner circles and speak on something that is a fact, your career, your status, or even your life is in jeopardy. I know this for a fact. I know it for a fact. And if you really knew of the things that I had a little close proximity to, it would blow your mind. But it's not my place, because I would not want to jeopardize the people that I do know that have the proximity to those circles on so many different levels. But I'll tell you this much. What you see online is pretty much dressed up, dolled up, set up like a boutique window that sells dresses, and they want to make the dresses look good. They put the lighting just right. One person stands in the window and holds the dress a certain way, and a person stands outside and says, move it to the left, move it to the right. Because the image of that dress in the boutique window determines who buys and how many people buy and how many sell, because so many people are eating from that boutique. Not just the boutique owner, but the family, the employees. So it's in their best interest to make sure everything in that store window, that shop window, that boutique window looks good. It's not a matter of being scared, but you know, nobody wants to be the first to break the ice. But the ongoing public attention surrounding Sean Diddy Combs has intensified this exact conversation. Not just about allegations or legal proceedings, but about how long narratives like this take to fully surface in the public space. When a figure of that level of influence faces scrutiny, it forces people to re-examine the entire structure around them. The industry, the media ecosystem, the inner circles, and the culture of protection that often exists around high-profile individuals. What the public wrestles with is not only the story itself, but the timing of the story. Why do these conversations emerge in waves? Why do they often surface after years of speculation, whispers, and fragmented reports? This is where accountability becomes the central question. Not just personal accountability, but systemic accountability. Because when someone operates at a high level in entertainment, they are never operating in isolation. We know this, but sometimes we need to be reminded. There are networks around them, supporters, gatekeepers, observers, and sometimes even silent participants in the ecosystem of fame. And when things finally surface, the public is left trying to understand how much was known behind the scenes, long before anything became public knowledge. And even before Freudian slip, because those things were there when you didn't know they were there. This is why these moments are so powerful. They force society to confront not only individuals, but the environments that allow silence to persist. The internet was supposed to bring clarity. Instead, it has multiplied confusion. With AI, editing tools, viral algorithms, and constant content overload, we're getting too much information. Sometimes you move your thumb and scroll, it's just too much. For me too. The constant content overload. Truth is no longer automatically believed. It has to be defended, proven, and often argued over. This creates emotional exhaustion. People do not know what to trust anymore. So they begin to trust less overall. And when trust collapses, even real truth struggles to stand out. Ain't that something? We're now in a cycle where exposure does not automatically create understanding. It often creates division. But there's a reason why this moment feels different for everyone. See, people across all backgrounds are feeling a shift. It shows up in conversations, in comment sections, in living rooms, and in online spaces. Some feel overwhelmed. Some feel awakened. Some feel disconnected entirely. But underneath all of it is the same question. What is real anymore? That question is no longer philosophical. It's practical, because decisions are being made every day based on information that may or may not be complete. And that is the tension of the modern age. We're not just dealing with information overload. We're dealing with truth delay, where reality takes time to catch up to perception, where stories evolve in public before they're ever finalized in fact, where silence, once broken, changes everything retroactively, and where people are left trying to make sense of it all while still living their lives in real time. The lesson in all of this is awareness, not panic, not assumption, but awareness. Because the more you understand how information flows, the less likely you're to be misled by the speed of it. Truth may still exist, but in this age, it often arrives late. And by the time it arrives, the world has already moved on. Isn't that something? But that's the entertainment world. That's the online bloggers and podcasters. I'm under that umbrella. I try not to go extreme, and I try not to say anything that I don't believe is true. I will say, hey, I heard this is a rumor, but I don't chase that type of audience, like a lawyer chasing an ambulance. It's unnecessary. And we're overloaded right now. With AI, we don't know what's real or not. We don't know what's real. But there's another aspect, another topic I want to speak about, but that's going to come. We're going to flow tonight. We're going to get down all up in it. We're going to lick the bowl. We're going to get it all out. But we're entering a new reality. That's for sure. And I don't think you can ever go back. For those who know how things used to be, I'm not one saying it has to go back the way it used to be all the way. I'm just saying it's too off the chain right now. It's like when you're sitting in a car with somebody who's driving and you're comfortable with their driving, but they go a little bit too fast on a wet road and you begin to feel uncomfortable. Right now, the way things are skidding out of control, I don't feel too comfortable with the mentalities out here in the world these days, driven by all this stuff put out here. We're zombified, we're not connected. I don't know who's gonna skid off the road and wanna collide with me. So I kind of pull away and enjoy my solitude and let the world go on and get as crazy as it wants to be because I can't slow it down. But there's a shift happening in the world that many people are not fully prepared for. It's not loud at first. It doesn't always announce itself. But once you see it clearly, you can't unsee it. See, there's things that you see and say, you can tell me it's something different, but I know what I saw. We're entering an era where the line between real and fake is no longer stable. What used to be evidence can now be generated. I'm going to say it again. What used to be evidence can now be generated. Someone a couple of years ago with early AI sent a picture of my face that moved. They took a still shot and they sent it to me, and they had me singing a song or something, and it was crude, but it was me. You can tell it wasn't me, but it was me. And I had to stare at it for a while. I mean, I know I don't move that way in my face, but in 2026, things are so authentic, so fast. What used to be proof can now be manufactured. Do we need witnesses in court anymore when they can come against you or they want to railroad you into a prison sentence with AI-created evidence and public opinion? And what used to be trusted on sight alone now requires questioning. This is not just about technology anymore. This is about perception itself. The human ability to trust what we see and hear is being challenged at the deepest level. Do you realize that? And most people are still living as if the old rules apply. They do not. The digital age has changed the rules completely, and most are not aware of it. Seeing is no longer believing. For most of human history, seeing was believing. If you saw it, you trusted it. If you heard it, you assumed it came from a real source. That foundation is now broken. Again, whether you believe it or understand it or not, it's broken. Artificial intelligence has introduced a new layer to reality where images, voices, and videos can be created without the original person ever being involved. A face can be mapped. A voice can be cloned. A moment can be generated that never happened at all. And the scary part is how real it looks. We're not talking about obvious fakes anymore. We're talking about content that can pass casual inspection. Content that can circulate online, get shared, and influence opinion before anyone realizes it was artificial. You know, and I'll say that changes everything, because society is built on shared agreement about what is real. When that agreement breaks, confusion becomes normal. What I was about to say, Back in the day, before AI, before the internet, you would see, for those who lived before the internet, right? And for those who didn't, just imagine, it's not hard to imagine this. You go to the movies. You see a person playing a villain, a bad guy, a criminal, a crook, a person demon-possessed. Let's just say an overall bad person who doesn't like other people, who does evil things to other people. Say a TV series over and over, week after week, or a movie. You know that this person is an actor, but it's in your subconscious mind now because you see them as the role they played. So your first inclination is to see them as that bad person they played. And if you have sense, you say, okay, that's not, they were just acting. If a person continues to play villains and criminals and bad people, bad-spirited people, after a while, you pretty much will see them that way. And then again, on the flip side, how many times have you seen an actor or an actress play the hero or the heroine, the good person, the person who does good? And you see them this way. And it's not hard to see them that way because you're seeing it in the movies. And then it comes out that they're racist, sexist, evil. And you're like, I kind of find this hard to deal with because in the movies, they played this good person. But what about people who portray themselves online as being a good person? And they do some jacked up things. I know a few of them. Real good. But the online persona doesn't match the individual who can charm you with words and a constructed image. There are many like that. And there are also many good people out there. But the bottom line is, what do we trust? Because this is a new age of digital impersonation. And one of the most dangerous parts of this technology is how personal it has become. It's no longer just about entertainment or experimentation. It's now possible for someone's identity to be copied with alarming accuracy or even enhanced. We have these tools in our hands now. A voice can be replicated so closely that even family members may hesitate. A video can be generated that shows someone saying words they never spoke. An audio clip can be created that sounds completely authentic, but has no real origin. This opens the door to a new kind of vulnerability. Do you realize that? Because we have these tools in our hand right now. People are no longer only protecting their privacy, if they still do, because we have them already. They're now forced to protect their identity itself, because identity can now be imitated. An imitation, when it spreads fast online, can cause real-world consequences before truth has time to catch up. I saw this app where you can take a photo, still photo, and really have people doing things that they never did. Two people kissing, people hugging, a deceased person busting through the clouds to throw a kiss and turn around and go back. We have access now to that. Do we realize that? I don't think so, how bad it is, because see, on a personal level, imagine you have a faithful husband and you can take him and any woman or some woman you know and you're in a circle and show them in the front seat of a car, kissing passionately in a dark area of the park. Because many of these people come from the era of seeing is believing. These days now, more people are like, is that AI? Is that real? Because now they're not really labeling anything. They label limited, but a lot of things are not being labeled. People make reels on Facebook. They create things now using AI. You can have them flying through the sky like a superhero. You're going to have them lifting up cars. You see what I mean? You can have them with famous people who are deceased, whose lifespans never overlapped. You can do that now. But on a personal level, how many people are going to get snuffed out? A man comes home drunk and sees his wife in a video clip with his best friend. Now he's drunk. He has no sense of reasoning. He doesn't think that this might be AI. He goes to grab his gun and takes the life of both of them. Now he's feeling stupid in court, getting charged, sentenced to life or death, whichever state they may live in. A lot of us are not right in the head from the get-go, much less having the ability to reason about what you see. Most of us do. But when it hits home, it's a whole nother thing when it hits home personally. You see, it's a collapse of trust in digital content. See, trust is fragile, even in the best of times. But in this environment, trust becomes something people hesitate to give at all. Every clip becomes questionable. Every statement becomes suspect. Every piece of viral content carries an invisible question mark, straight up. Is it real or is it generated? But see, there's the possibility that it might be real. So 3, 4, 5 years from now, when things get even better, could you imagine? But that question alone changes how people consume information. Instead of reacting with certainty, people begin reacting with doubt. And when doubt becomes the default, communication itself becomes unstable. The internet was supposed to bring clarity. Instead, it's introduced uncertainty at scale. And uncertainty spreads faster than truth. You know, not even just uncertainty, but it'll become a lie. A sweet lie to the people who love the gossip. Why communities are especially vulnerable? Well, in communities where reputation carries deep meaning, this technology creates a serious concern. A single manipulated clip can travel faster than any correction. A false impression can spread before facts are even gathered. And even after something is proven false, the emotional impact often remains. And that happens without AI. Say, for example, a grown man is accused of doing something inappropriate with a child. And he's proven innocent. But guess what? The stigma remains, because there'll always be those individuals who are like, okay, he was proven not guilty, but what if? Or, yeah, he might have beat the charges, but I always felt something strange about him. See, that was before AI and the whole digital world attacking our life. But this is where deepfakes become more than a technological issue. They become a social issue. Because damage does not wait for verification. It spreads immediately. No hesitation. No way. And in a world where attention moves faster than truth, the correction is always playing catch up. So you can't believe everything you hear at first. But that imbalance creates frustration, confusion, and sometimes permanent misunderstanding. Because some people are going to get it and hold on to the lie or the fabrication, and it's going to become reality in their mind. Because these days there's a new struggle for truth. We're now forced to rethink how truth is verified. It is no longer enough to simply see something. It is no longer enough to hear something. Truth now requires confirmation, context, and often multiple layers of validation. This slows everything down. In a fast-moving digital world, slowing down feels unnatural. But it is necessary, because without verification, anything can be made to look real. And if anything can look real, then nothing can be accepted blindly. We're standing at the beginning of a new phase of human communication, a phase where reality is no longer fixed. It can be edited, shaped, and generated. This does not mean truth disappears. It means truth must now be protected more carefully than ever before. The responsibility shifts to the audience, to the viewer, to the listener, to the thinker. Because in this environment, awareness is protection and ignorance is vulnerability. We are no longer just consuming content. We are now navigating engineered reality. And the sooner that's understood, the better prepared people will be to move through it without being misled. Could you imagine the youngsters now growing up in a place where the line is blurred? That they can't trust what they're even seeing? At least those of us who are a little older would be able to see something and understand it. But now it's blurred. And regular people have the power to do this. Imagine a straight man who shows respect to everybody, and a clip circulates of him waving a rainbow flag and maybe cross-dressing or, doing something sexual with somebody the same sex. That is damaging. Imagine a pastor, a reverend, somebody in the religious area cursing out somebody on the road because they cut them off. The possibilities are endless. And somebody's going to run with it. I saw old pastor. He was out there giving somebody the finger and cussing somebody out. Imagine that. So we got to be careful. The AI deepfakes destroying trust. It is what it is. The engineered reality. But moving on to the next one. Creator economy under pressure. There was a time when the idea of creating content online felt like pure freedom. Oh, I remember those days. 25 years in the game, y'all. You could speak your mind, share your ideas, build an audience, and slowly turn attention into opportunity. I'm from the days before you could turn it into opportunity. Long after those days came, I still wasn't focused on that. I just love to talk and express myself and hear other perspectives, not argue with them, but reason with them. It's the kind of person I am. I took to this like a duck to water. That promise still exists on the surface, but underneath, the reality has changed in a major way. Today, the creator economy is no longer just about creativity. That's what breaks my heart. It's about survival inside a system that constantly shifts its rules. Many people are still chasing the old version of the dream, not realizing the environment has already changed. I was guilty of that, still doing the same things and not realizing the game has changed. But I'm still here. I've altered certain things, changed certain things, and shifted certain movements. You have to grow with the times, but it's quite sinister now. And that gap between expectation and reality is where frustration begins. I can tell you all about that. At first, the creative space felt open. Oh, yes, it did. If you posted consistently and understood your audience, growth felt possible, very possible. There was room for experimentation, and even small voices can break through. But over time, platforms evolved into tightly controlled ecosystems. Algorithms began deciding what gets seen and what disappears. Monetization rules started changing without warning. And visibility became something that had to be constantly earned and re-earned. Nothing is stable anymore. A creator can build momentum for months and lose it in days because of a shift they did not create and cannot control. This is where the emotional pressure begins to build, because effort no longer guarantees outcome. That's the absolute truth. One of the hardest truths about the creator economy is that the system is not designed around fairness or emotional investment. We thought it was, but it's not. It's designed around engagement. That means content is constantly measured, ranked, and redistributed based on behavior patterns, not effort or intent. A video can take hours or days to create. But if it does not match what the system is currently rewarding, it may never reach the audience it was meant for. Let me tell you a little secret right now. You can have 5 million subscribers, and you make a video, it's not going to get to those 5 million subscribers. It might go to 10 million. It might go to 50,000. It all depends on what's hot in that ecosystem. It's based on what's being spoken of or what people are looking at. That's all. And just because a person has 5 million subscribers doesn't mean they're making much money at all. People who are ignorant to that, they don't understand how it works. So the new way is to kind of go where the tide takes you while still being yourself. Being unique and being yourself for those who will look for you. But the social media platforms are not going to push you, even people who subscribe to you, because they want engagement, because it's a business for them. And the more people engage, the more people see the ads that pay these platforms to put the ads out there. To heck with the creator. See, this creates a deep frustration for creators who are doing everything right, but still not seeing consistent results. It's not always about talent or charisma. It's about timing, format, and alignment with the ever-changing system. The goalposts are always being moved. And most don't realize. They say, wow, look, I'm not saying I'm the baddest out there, but I know this game well. And I knew this for a while, how it's changed, but it's still changing. And it's sinister because it's not about you anymore. It's about how the algorithms choose you. You see? And the system does not stay still long enough for anybody to fully master it. By the time you master it, it changed. Be yourself, put out your content, but don't expect much. And if you're out here trying to be a star, you might get a little attention here and there, but chances are, unless the algorithms shine down on you, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. So be happy with your little piece of cyberspace and build on it. It's like putting pennies in the piggy bank. Just keep putting them in there every day. One day it'll get full. But with the internet and the creative content, it may not get full. You'll go back to the piggy bank and lift it up and it's so light, and like, where the pennies go? Because you're not building anything now online. You can have thousands of videos. My old channel had, 6,000 videos? 6,000. And for those who can remember, a lot of those videos are hours and hours long. So if I was looking for something from this internet thing, I would have been crushed. But no, it's me. It's how I am. It's what I share. I'm not looking for nothing from these platforms, because now it's mind control. right? That's what it is. Another major shift in the creator economy is volume. Millions of people are now creating content at the same time. Every platform is saturated with voices, opinions, entertainment, education, commentary, and reaction-based media. It's not the way it used to be before. Attention has become the most valuable currency in the world. But attention now is also very limited. This means every creator is now competing not only with professionals, but with everyday users, AI-generated content, and global media networks, all fighting for the same limited screen space. In this environment, even good content can get lost. Not because it lacks value, but because the volume of content has overwhelmed the attention system itself. But there's an emotional cost of constant adaptation. To survive in the creator economy, people are forced to adapt constantly. Change your format, adjust your style, follow trends, shift your strategy, relearn the platform, rebuild your reach. It's too much. And just when something starts working, boom, the rules change again. This creates a cycle of pressure that many creators did not talk about openly. Because behind the content, there's real exhaustion. Not just creative exhaustion, but emotional exhaustion from trying to stay visible in a system that never stops moving. This is why burnout is becoming so common. Not because people are weak, but because the environment is unstable. And there's also another illusion out there, the illusion of consistent income. One of the biggest misconceptions in the creator economy is stability. People often assume that once you make it, income becomes steady. But in reality, income is often tied directly to platform behavior, audience engagement, and unpredictable algorithm shifts. This means earnings can rise and fall without warning. A viral moment can produce and bring sudden growth, but maintaining that level is often far more difficult than reaching it. It's crazy. This creates financial uncertainty even for established creators. And uncertainty changes how people think, create, and plan their future. With all of these pressures combined, the real question becomes clear. How do you build something sustainable in a system that creates changing or keeps changing the rules on how you create, rather? There's no simple answer. Some people diversify across platforms, some build direct audience connections, some move toward offline income streams, some step away completely. But one truth remains consistent. Adaptation is no longer optional. It's required for survival. We're not watching the end of the creator economy. We're watching its transformation. What used to feel like open opportunity is now a structured environment with shifting layers of control, competition, and unpredictability. In the middle of it all are creators trying to express themselves while also trying to stay financially stable. The pressure is real. The instability is real. The exhaustion is real. But so is the opportunity for those who understand the system clearly. Because once you see how the structure works, you stop blaming yourself for every fluctuation. You start adapting with awareness instead of frustration. And in a system that never stops changing, awareness becomes the most valuable tool of all. That's why I'm still here. Many people don't realize behind the scenes how much has changed, how tougher it got. But I'm not in the race. I do what I do from within and let it go where it goes. That's why I don't feel that frustration or that pressure. I'll see the changes and I'll make adjustments. I'm not running to it because I have my center and my base. I'm not chasing rainbows. There's so many people who feel there's some script that can manifest you like instantly to the world. Things were a lot easier back in the day now. I'm not gonna lie. You put in the work, you got your return. I know that personally. And it's not like I'm not putting in the work now, no, but I'm not gonna look, if you went to work, you get paid every 2 weeks. 3 months go by and you haven't gotten paid yet. And you're always given an answer. How long do you think you want to work at that job? Of course, you're going to take the guys to court who employ you, but you lose it. And so for me, I understood. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to lose my spirit of creativity simply because they deem my creations not much and it's not going to be pushed out as much. No, I'm still going to do what I do from within. Case closed. That's it. So I'm not running around here frustrated. I like to talk. I like to share. I like to create. I like the whole process. I've said it before many years ago. It's the joy of the process. Who gets it, gets it. Who doesn't, doesn't. Now, when they start coming after you, shadow banning you or doing these little things, and there are reasons why people feel shadow banned and they're really not. But the whole game is changing. Guess what? Another 4 or 5 months, certain things are going to change and you can't do anything about it. So do your best. Do your best. Wolfmaster, the Wolfmaster, welcome on in. YouTube is trying to limit the cash money. Yes, they are. And see, what they're doing is they're going after content creators and demonetizing them. And so now they'll still slap ads on those same videos on a creator who is demonetized. So they're still making money off the video, but they're not sharing it with the creator. That's one basic thing. They go after certain types of content now. They can do that. That's their platform. Understood. But they don't want people to make any money. I'm retired. I'm good. I'm not rich, but I'm not dependent on that. The couple pennies I get, I'm cool. You know, he'll take care of some groceries. Not much, you know. You go to the grocery store, you know, I'm up in the mountains, so we get a lot of our stuff natural, but there are a couple little products I want to get from the grocery stores. Okay, YouTube took care of that. Then you get the rest of the month. So YouTube can't take what I get that I earned, so I'm not sweating it. But if you think, because I know people personally who are making money, and when I had my highest earnings, it shocked me, but it wasn't as big as the other people, and it wasn't for long. It descended down. It did. I'll answer some of those other questions as far as amounts in the comments section. If you ask me, I'll tell you. If you ask me, I'll tell you. I have nothing to hide. And I have documentation to prove it. Because there's some people thought that I was making like, oh, he's making $500,000 a year. And oh, I wish I would. Or wish I could. You know, but that's just, it's a dirty game. But it can be used as advertisement for certain businesses, certain services, as one big billboard, if you choose to use it that way, you know? But it was good when it was around, but if you think, and you can still make money. I mean, I've known people who, I know one guy has a boxing page, and many years ago, he got to a level of making at least $30,000 or $40,000 a month. That's somebody I know personally, not face to face, but you know, we talked a lot. Haven't spoken to him for a while. And with the amount of followers and the amount of, he's grinding even harder now to keep up with what he used to earn. And it dropped a little bit, but it's still good. But even he knows that it's not going to last forever. You know, if you pick a niche like some type of sport, basketball, boxing, and that's what you talk about, you have a built-in audience. But if you do it like I do it, people are not going to really come around that much. And I haven't sold out to the sensationalism of other things. I'm okay with my little corner here. If I do something else, it'll be something completely different, but I'm going to always do this because this is what I know. This is what I do, you know? And you got to be true to yourself. But here we go. The next point, final point, global money stress. Why money keeps shrinking. Is it really shrinking? Are we imagining things? I don't think so. It really feels like it's shrinking everywhere you turn. But there's a growing question that people are asking in different ways all around the world. And again, why does it feel like money is shrinking? Not just in one country, not just in one community, but across all borders, across income levels, and across everyday conversations. Yep. People are working, earning, and trying to manage life the same way they always have, but something feels different. What used to be enough no longer stretches the same way. What used to be manageable now feels tight. And what used to feel stable now feels uncertain. This is not just imagination. Like the old song, just my imagination running away with me. This is a shared global experience. And it deserves a deeper look. You have to face it. Because there is a gap between income and reality. One of the biggest reasons people feel financial pressure is the growing gap between income and the cost of living. In many cases, income has stayed the same or increased very slowly, if at all. But the cost of basic life has continued to rise. Food, rent, transportation, utilities, healthcare, and daily needs are all increasing in ways that are noticeable even to the average person, even to the blinded person, even to the distracted person. You have to feel it. This creates a simple but powerful effect. Even if someone is doing the same job with the same effort, their lifestyle begins to shrink. Not because they changed, but because the environment changed around them. That is where the frustration begins. Because people do not feel like they're doing worse. They feel like the system is moving faster than they can adjust. It's like running after a bus. You see the bus half a block away. You see the people getting on. The last person gets on, you're closer, you're screaming, you're yelling. Now you see the doors close. The bus is starting to pull off slow. You still feel like you have a chance. You're running harder. You're getting closer to the bus. The bus picks up speed. Depending on how you are as a person, some people will continue to run. Some people will slow down. And some people say, I just missed the bus. Let it go ahead. I didn't catch it. That's how the economy and the jobs, the cost of living, and what we earn, it's the bus. And it's getting away from us in many cases. Situations are different. Some people are doing well. Some people are not at that point yet. But it's coming. Hopefully it'll go away. But I don't think so. See, when money stops stretching, the mind starts feeling it before the bank account does. People begin adjusting mentally before they even make physical changes. They start thinking twice before every purchase. They start calculating more often. They start feeling the pressure even in small decisions. This creates stress that builds over time, not overnight, but over time, but it's sitting on your shoulder all the time. And it's not from one big event, but from constant small pressure points. And the worst part is that it does not always feel like a crisis. It feels like ongoing survival. And the perception of that makes it even worse than what it really is. That slow pressure changes how people think, plan, and move through life. Even people who are managing are still feeling it because it's lurking around the corner. Because financial strain is not only about running out of money, it's about constantly feeling like you have to stretch what you have further than ever before. Across different parts of the world, the experience looks different but feels the same. In some places, it shows up as rising food prices. In others, it shows up as unstable currency value. In others, it shows up as job insecurity or reduced buying power. But the emotional result is shared. People feel they're working harder just to maintain the same position they already had. And in many communities, survival has become more creative. People are relying on side work, informal income, shared resources, and community support just to stay balanced. But then again, that's nothing new in the Black community. But now it's like the whole world is becoming a Black community in that respect. They feeling it. It's like, hey, we always had it this way. You know, folks who made extra money doing hair in the kitchen sink, you know, somebody in the driveway doing somebody's brakes for extra money, all kind of gigs, all kind of different things. I couldn't tell you how much money I made with the minivan that I had, driving the dollar van and taking the seats out sometime, doing a moving job, whatever. But this is no longer just about budgeting. It's about adaptation. People are adjusting their entire lifestyle just to stay afloat in a changing environment. But there's a question people are silently asking. As this pressure continues, a deeper question starts to form. Is this only personal struggle? Or is it something larger happening in the structure of money itself? When millions of people across different regions begin asking similar questions without coordination or contact, it usually points to a shared experience, not an individual failure. People are not just asking why things are expensive, they're asking why everything feels like it's shifting at the same time. That's where awareness begins to grow. They know something's up. Because once people stop blaming themselves, they start observing the system more clearly. But why? Why it feels like money is shrinking even when it's not? In many cases, money is not literally shrinking, but its value feels reduced. That feeling comes from multiple forces working together. Prices rise, income lags behind, expenses increase across multiple areas at once. And the result is a constant sense of catching up. Even when someone is financially stable on paper, the experience can still feel tight. Because stability is not just numbers, it's perception. And when everyday life becomes more expensive across multiple categories at the same time, the mind interprets it as loss of control. That is why the feeling is so strong globally. It's not just math, it's lived experience. We're living in a time where multiple systems are changing at once. This world is changing. Financial systems, information systems, job markets, and even social expectations are all shifting in real time. There's no way to prepare for it. You just experience and think on your toes. And in the middle of it all are everyday people trying to maintain balance, trying to stay stable in a moving environment is what creates the pressure, because the rules change every day. The goalposts are moved around. Because even when you make progress, the target keeps moving. The bus keeps pulling away. That's the reality many people are feeling right now, whether they fully understand it or not. It's like the boogeyman just around the corner, that shadow that you turn around and look at and nothing's there, but you feel it. You know you see something coming out the corner of your eye, but you can't prove it. The first step in dealing with financial pressure is not panic, it's awareness. But a lot of us are too afraid to do that. Back in the day, you fell behind on your bills. I'm not saying you or anybody here, I'm just saying in general. And you had this big pile of bills sitting up on your dresser in your bedroom, the worst place to even deal with financial stuff. Have another room, you leave that out of your bedroom. Leave your TV out of your bedroom too, right? Any blue light, leave it out. It's a place to sleep and do other things, if you know what I mean. Week after week, if you were unemployed or didn't make enough money and those bills piled up, it just seemed like you didn't want to see that pile of bills. And the day you decided to face it and called the people that you owed money to and worked out a deal, they might have said, okay, I'll take 50% of that. I'll take 30% if you can pay it up within a week. And once you went down the list of dealing with the biggest bill, the one behind that, down to the smallest one, making deals with these creditors, you're realizing like it wasn't as bad. But like I said, it's the awareness. Because when you understand that your experience is shared globally, you stop internalizing it as personal failure. Because a lot of folks are out here smiling. How you doing? I'm all right. Not that you're expected to tell, well, I'm $50,000 in debt. No, that's your business. But we feel pressure to keep up the facade while feeling the pressure on the inside. And that's what makes a lot of us just go off. Face it, you begin to see patterns instead of problems. And patterns can be studied. Patterns can be adapted to. Patterns can be navigated. The world is changing quickly. And money, unfortunately, is a part of that change. But people are not powerless inside of it. The more clearly you see what's happening, the more strategically you can move within it. And in times like these, clarity becomes a form of strength. And I've used this example in the past. But you got two types of people who face an accident a certain way, right? And welcome on in, Brother Michael George. Glad to see you here. I see you in the chat room all the time, but I'm glad you're here live. But yeah, you're approaching the intersection and somebody runs the light. You have the light, but somebody runs the light going across you. You got two people. You got one person who screams and covers up their eyes. And maybe they'll slam the brakes, but they'll cover up their eyes. They don't want to face reality. Maybe in their mind, it'll go away. And then you have the other type of person that says, oh, damn, we're going to get hit. But let me grab this wheel. Let me squeeze the brakes and let me see if I can minimize the impact. So maybe if the car is coming from the right side, quickly, if you've been scanning the lanes next to you and you know that there's nobody on the left side of you, you're driving in the middle lane and there are lanes on the left and on the right, but they come in the intersection from the right side, you know that you can turn that wheel to the right and not hit anybody else. You'll get hit, but it will be deflected better at the angle that you get hit. Because you turned, you rolled with the punch. But you have to be aware to be able to roll with the punch. You can't close your eyes and know how the punch is going to land. In a fight, in which in this lifetime we have many fights on different levels, you're going to have to learn how to roll with the punches. Sometimes you're going to get paid less or more bills coming in or something unexpected, just the same way you get a check in the mail that you didn't expect. You see? But you have to be aware, and we got to cut emotions. We have to take action, and we got to be realistic. I'm not preaching to the choir because in the past I've made a lot of financial mistakes. I'm no guru. But one thing I have is the ability to be frugal and discipline myself. Yesterday when I went to the supermarket, I carried out a little bag of stuff. I'm like, I'm so proud of myself. I saw all these things screaming at me that maybe 30 or 35, 40 years ago, I would have grabbed up so much more, but I'm like, I don't need that. I don't need that because see, I have goals right now. I have things I want to accomplish. And the temporary pleasures of the palate or seasonings or a little treat, that adds up. And it takes my mind off of what I need to do. But money, oh, even here in the motherland, money is a thing. Even the people who live in the mountains around me, who are native and born in this area, they don't see what they have that they can utilize freely as far as all of this land and planting things. The land is all owned by somebody, but there are people they're chiefs here who have acres and miles of land. They're not doing anything with it. Go talk to them and say, listen, can I plant whatever and I'll give you half of it or whatever, and you have all this food. One thing, and I'm telling the truth about it, many people here, they rather ask you for money as opposed to saying, let's get together and grow stuff. And if you plant stuff, they're not going to help you. I'm not going to say everybody. There's some good people around here that I know. But many, you won't find them. But when the harvest comes, they're there at your door. See, my father taught me a lot of discipline, right? And there have been times when I haven't been as disciplined. You splurge, you're young. But I take joy in knowing that I don't waste. I let things accumulate. And sometimes things get tight. I understand why. But I'm winning the battle because I'm in control of myself. Because when you're on social media, you get bombarded with so many ads. And even if you're not being bombarded with ads, you're being bombarded with other people who live different lifestyles, who may have a little more, or they may be flossing, and they don't have it like that, but they want to appear a certain way, which is the stupidest thing that you can do. Dumb and Dumber. And I believe I did a show a few weeks back. Why do poor people love to look rich? And you got the rich people out here, or the wealthy rather, because rich is not wealthy. Rich can be something that you get overnight, get quick, and it doesn't have the stability, and they can be gone. You got to be a crackhead for like 5 generations to lose wealth. A whole family bloodline of crackheads. And anybody who's defeated crack, I'm not making fun of you. But it's how we think. Do we really need the things we say that we need? Oh, I need. Why do you need that? Right? It may be something that you want. And if it is, I'm not against you. But make sure it's something that has lasting value to you. Like I said, talking to Miss Scurv, and I was saying, back in the day when social media was like growing and popping and different, I invested in a lot of equipment. And now a lot of that stuff is becoming obsolete. You can get things cheaper. That's how technology is. For those who remember back in the day, was it the late 70s or early 80s, really the early 80s, when you bought a VCR, that bad boy cost a lot of money. Over $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 back then. The 4-head VCR, the 6-head, my VCR has 8 heads, it's a clearer picture. And after a couple of years, you can get a VCR for $100, $80. You know something? So we got to be careful and just take time with what we get. I remember we took a drive through Tampa, Florida. Me and Mr. Scurv. I forgot what year it was. Might have been, I don't know. It was a good amount of years ago. It was in the late 2007, 2008, around in there. We took a ride through Tampa. And we were kind of hanging out. We're going to get something to eat. It was just I said, let's go to Tampa. We just picked it off the map. We drove from Orlando to Tampa. We're driving around. We had yet to get something to eat. We weren't super hungry yet, but I said, let's go into the Toyota dealership and walk around and see what they have. At the time, we had a 96 Corolla. A 96 Corolla, right? So that was looking old to the dealers, and they're like, okay, they're coming in here to get a new, maybe they're brand loyal. Let's see if we can get them something. So we just told them we are not buying, we are looking. Wouldn't you believe they were so pushy? Now, we weren't going for it. They had us sitting up in the chair ready to sign papers. And we're looking at each other like, these people are crazy. They were railroading us, and they really weren't. They were giving us the sales pitch, and I had researched the Toyota vehicles. I already knew. And you so hungry. Come, just sit down. Just consider it. Just sit down. Let me get some paperwork and break out with the terms. And maybe, wouldn't you believe they were trying to sell us a Toyota Camry? A Toyota Camry for $45,000 back then. $45,000. And one of the guys, I'll never forget it. They were so hungry for the sale. It's this white guy, he had something wrong with one of his legs. And he was like, rocking back and forth as he walked. And one of the things, it was just so abstract. It was so funny. He walked away. He said, oh, we're going to detail the car. I'm getting it ready. We didn't sign any papers. And we looked at each other. And the one main guy, a black guy, he was pissed. Because we were just letting them have their way. Like, you think we're going to really buy this? We told you when we came here. But just think, how many people would have been seduced because they were talking about all the features on this car and all. Listen, long after we roll out of that dealership, if you think we're going to do this, we'll be paying you, or you'll get paid and we'll be paying back. For how long? For something you convinced. We weren't even thinking about it, and we didn't. We eventually got another vehicle, and I drove the Camry and she drove the newer vehicle, as a good husband should. But the sales tactics, not even just direct, to take your limited money. I don't care if you get $50,000 a week, that's limited because it's not $51,000. What I'm saying is that know what you have, serve yourself first, and don't be seduced. We know the money keeps shrinking. We know the prices keep going up, but don't do it to yourself. Because a lot of times we feel as if we treat ourselves, that's going to give us some relief from the pressure, and it won't. Yeah. I feel the same way with Wolfmaster. The Wolfmaster said, I will never buy name brand clothes ever. What a waste of money. There are people out here, I've known people, and they will constantly tell you, I bought this from this boutique and it cost me this. People bragging about debt, only to realize that through China, they stamped it, they put the label on it, send it back, and you bragging about Chinese. And a name brand. That never sat well with me because slaves were branded with the name of the slave master. What's the difference? Except that we willingly do it, but many of us are like slaves on a plantation. Oh, I got this Giorgio Armani this, and I got this, I don't even know the designers, all of them. But you bragging about what plantation you're on through your fashion or through what vehicle you drive. Now, if you have it like that, where you don't feel it, fine. I never knock a person from treating themselves to something. The only thing is I say, well, do it within reason. If you're worth $150 million and you purchase a Rolls Royce, I can't be mad at you. I wouldn't do it if I had that kind of money. I want the money to grow. Point A to point B for me. I'll be happy with some electric car, and I'm a little leery on that too, by what I'm hearing and controlling and being able to stop things, whatever. But whatever. Always live below your means and enjoy life. I enjoy the sunrise. I enjoy the sunset. I enjoy a nice long walk, good conversation, good fresh GMO-free food, good laughter. Like I said, good conversation. Stimulate me mentally. That's worth more than me having some expensive ring on or somebody's designer clothes that I have to constantly remind everybody what I bought and how much it cost. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear the results of your insecurities, that you have to drape yourself with this stuff to feel like you're worth something. A lot of times that's where it's coming from. Now, if you're in a certain profession, a certain way that you treat yourself, and that's your forte, well, yeah. But if you're flossing it, that means it's coming from somewhere else. Look at Floyd Mayweather. All the cars, all the money, walking around with money and money and money. He's fighting back at something in his childhood. I said that, and I won't even say it again, but it was his childhood that messed him up. And he still doesn't feel any better with all of that around. That's funny. Go and work on yourself mentally. Work on your voids. Understand that when you work on yourself, you'll be very content without all of the other stuff. And again, I'm not mad if somebody goes, and I wouldn't be mad anyway because it's your money, but I'm just saying, I wouldn't be judgmental and say, oh, look at that. He didn't have to buy that. My way of thinking may not be the next person's way of thinking. Maybe I'm doing something off. Look at him sitting there by the computer, and he made all those videos and he took them away. But they're still in existence, like I explained. I have proof of that now. Just a matter. And the same with my old Twitter account. I checked it again. The old one still got 24,000 followers. Don't have access to it. You know, weird world when they want to shapeshift around. So I do things different now. And I realized this life is an experience. It's a journey to be experienced. We're not taking anything with us. So enjoy the experience. The Wolfmaster said, I want that money to travel and have financial freedom. Wake up to freedom. Keep my money in my pocket. I also avoid affluent white areas where you have to keep up with Joneses. Yes, because they do that too. They're so caught up in status and in a different way maybe, but a lot of them are caught up in that. I don't want that. If I go into town tomorrow, I got some stuff here doing, I got to wait for somebody. And if I have enough time, the high point of my day, because I have shoes and everything. I don't really wear them. I wear Crocs. I'm out here wearing Crocs all the time. I'm like, man, this is so comfortable. I don't care if somebody thinks I don't have any shoes. I have shoes. I have clothes. But the high point, if it's not tomorrow or Saturday, I got a gazillion pair of Crocs, right? Always black. But I'm going to get a new pair because there's one that has a tiny hole in the bottom. And I'm going to wear those to go get the new ones and throw those down and keep the new ones. And I still have some here, right? But I have my own rules. of what I do. And I feel free. And I still have obligations, and I'm still in the system to a point. I want the total freedom that the Wolf Master speaks of, yes. I have a little more than I did, much more than I did, but I'm not on the way there yet. But that's the deal. Keep your money in your pocket. Wake up to freedom. Wake up when you want to. Turn around and say, you know what? I'm gonna lay in this bed another hour if I want to. If you want to stay up late and sleep late. Do what you want to do. You know, but we have to set ourselves up to be in that position. You know, if we do what we need to do for ourselves, we can structure a life that won't feel the pressure as much. If we discipline ourselves, the world can't touch us that way. If we get around from some of the so-called wants that are really not things that we want lots of the time. We see these commercials and we think it's normal, and I have to have this and I have to have that. No. Like I said, where I live is more important than a car. I don't have a car right now. I had all kind of cars in my life. Oh, trucks, vans, luxury vehicles, sports cars, whatever. Only thing I never had was a drop top. I never wanted one. I've had deals on cars. I've had cars and people, man, I'm selling this for this price, man. That's a good deal. Let me get it. Then I sell it over, whatever. Rotate. But even now, it doesn't bother me. Because up here in the mountains, I walk out to the van, take the van. The van is dirt cheap going down to the city. I'm free. I'm free. I got to worry about no transmission and engine and brakes. No. I'm going to get something, but not right now. I'm enjoying the freedom. I didn't melt because, you know what I mean? I'm slipping through the cracks like everybody else. I'm not bringing any attention onto myself. Especially here where many people think when you come from America and you obviously don't have a job that you're making $1 million. How do you make it? You're always shopping and getting food, and I'm good. I'm good. They can't comprehend it. The same token, we have people back in America who must show out. They must show out. For the women, the hair and the nails and the eyebrows arched, and some with the BBLs or whatever. And the brothers got to always get a car that they can't afford, or they got to squeeze tight for it and they're suffering. I remember when I worked in corrections. People were working lots of overtime to keep up with something that their base income could not support. You know how many repo men used to come to the parking lot of corrections and repossess cars? How embarrassing. Here you are working all this overtime, making good money too. You have the repo man coming for you? Unbelievable. Because the more most people make, the more they want to spend. No. The more I get, the more I'm trying not to spend. And I'm not cheap. I'm not a cheapskate. I'm a frugal skate. And Mrs. Scurv is too. She's good saving money. So where you save all that money from? Oh, I put it away. What? Where you getting that money from? She doesn't hide it from me. I'm just saying, you know, she'll discreetly put it down. And long before I met her, she wasn't making much money when she first came to America. Minimum wage. But after a couple years in the country, she bought her first house. On that. You see? Wolfmaster says, it's not worth it, bro. It's stressful. You're right. The women go crazy. They look fine, but always on the verge of eviction. Truth. Truth. Sister Queen Diane said, there are those that need to be seen. Yes. It's here too, not en masse. In a way, it's here across the board on what level you want to look at. I mean, there are young ladies here, and again, it's the men too, but I'm focusing, the ladies are the ones who are visible more with it. I hate to say it like this, but there's some who, and this is anywhere, but here, some who are really dirt poor, y'all. But they got to get their hair done. I mean, a flamboyant hairstyle. They got to get that makeup done, the nails done, the hair done. For what? To walk around broke? Or you think you're going to attract a man that's going to swoop down and be your destiny helper? Are you serious? I was on the van the other day going into town before, just a little village here, a little roundabout they have up there. Little markets, I know everybody up there. I didn't get off. I stayed on because I was going down into a crowd. And I saw a young lady with this light burgundy dress. It was so short and so tight, and the makeup was so heavy, and the wig was, wig or weave or whatever it was. And the way she was standing, it was like, look at me, look at me. But you're waiting on the van. I wait on the van. There's no disgrace. But you put so much money into looking a certain way. And then what? I saw her before. That she was done up. And then it goes away. You invest this money to look a certain way. And when you're broke, you don't want to be seen. You have the scarf over your head, the weave is gone, or it's all matted up. No makeup, eyes swollen, stuff in the corner of your eye. You know you got to be broke when you don't remember to wipe the stuff out the corner of your eye before you leave the house. Got a big spoon of vanilla yogurt in the corner of your eye. You don't care no more because now you don't have the outfit on. Unbelievable. Then you have the ones that go in a crowd into the clubs where the tourists go, the money spots. And they go down there to catch a man, And the guys are down there to get with a woman. There's always going to be a financial transaction. Even if they don't admit that they're prostitutes, they won't say that, but they're trying to finagle you to get that money. For what? So you can get the next weave. I've seen it. I know some women like that. They're not going to come on camera. They're not going to come on audio, but I know them. And then you want to complain about money being tight. If I was a woman, and I'm not a woman, I have no desire. I'm not from any desire to be one. But you see the illustration, the image of me up there on the left-hand corner? That would be my hairstyle. I wouldn't spend a dime. And I'm not knocking women who have their hair and it has to be done a certain way or whatever have you. But to pour so much money, and that's what I did back in, 98? I think it was 1998. Yeah, 98, I was driving a Lincoln Town Car for an entertainment company. And I had hair. And I was like, you know what? I'm cutting this bad boy off because I'm going to the barber all the time, spending all this money, keeping it exact. I'm not doing it no more. And from 98 on up, late 98 on up, it's me and razor blades. I don't know what's going on with my hair now. I know I got a lot of white hair going on, but I shave every day. And saving that money. Saving that money. Don't complain when things feel tight and you want to hold on to habits. And you feel light when you let these things go. Society tells you have to look this way or have this to be right. You got to have this, you got to have that. No, you listen to your own inner voice. If it's something that's stressing you and straining you, get rid of it. To heck with what the group says or what the crowd says or what the ads say or what they make you feel. All of these ads, and I've said it before, a study was done from the late 60s compared to now, the present. And the ads and advertisements that influence us, it's like so many thousands of ads hit us every day. We don't realize, little pop-ups, little this, little things you hear on the radio, pop-ups on your phone, in your email, in your text message. Gunning for that money. But back in the late 60s, you had TV and you had the radio. And TV, you had commercials. The show would play for 10 minutes and the commercial would come on. That's where you hold your pee-pee, you know, and then, oh, the commercial, I can go to the bathroom now. And you hurry back, right? Now, no matter where you are, you go on certain sites, you got to keep clicking these things that are popping up. I'm trying to read the article. I don't want to see these things. You go on Facebook now. Even if you're watching a reel or something, a kind of video or something, things are popping up now. Now, today, earlier, I was on Facebook checking messages. And then I saw somebody speaking about Bill Grant, rest in peace, bodybuilder that I interviewed back when I was 51 years old. I'm 63 now, so that's 12 years ago. It's on SoundCloud, the interview, but I got to put it on YouTube because it was on the old channel and taken down, but I have the audio on SoundCloud. Yeah. I met him back in the late 70s. And his family, you know, ran up on me in New Jersey when I was at a competition. Like, oh my God, you look just like him when he was younger. Yeah, he passed away. So you'll see it in a couple of days when I find it and rework the banner and everything. Good guy. He never won the Olympia or anything, but he's from the golden age and he was a character. But anyway, God, what was I going to say? I lost my point of view, my thought. I lost my thought. But I'm going to wrap it down soon anyway. And I'll be back tomorrow with the same type of content. We're going to go back old school with the multiple topics to speak on. Is there anything you want us to talk about here? Let me know. I'm down for it. I am not afraid to talk about anything. Whatever it is taboo or politically incorrect. And I guess that's gotten me into a lot of trouble. I don't care. That's the way I am. I'm in the old man phase right now. I'll say anything. He's a grouchy old man. He's just talking about everything. Yeah, I'm not going to be afraid. I'm not going to sit here and be all anal retentive because somebody doesn't want to talk about something. I'll be polite now. I'm not going to try to hurt anybody's feelings. But we have to face things head on, because when we don't face things, that's when we get the real problems and the real issues that happen. Be a realist. Look whatever it is dead in the eye. Even if it's your own reflection, and be real with yourself. Whatever it may be. You might have a gambling addiction. You might have a porn addiction. You might have a nosy addiction. There's something that could be messing you up. And we're doing it every day and we don't want to admit it to ourselves. And our tires are spinning and we got our foot on the gas and we don't realize that we're going nowhere because the tires are spinning in the mud. Get somebody to help you to get up out of that daggone ditch, no matter what that ditch is. Or dish. Some of us have eating disorders, right? See, even my mistake was brilliant. We eat our problems away. And we don't eat it away. We create multiple problems by doing it that way. When are we going to have time to face ourselves? With all this stuff in the world that's changing, coming to take our money, coming to take our peace, coming to take all this stuff away, if we mastered ourselves, we defeat all of that. And it's not easy. It's not easy. When I did bodybuilding and we had a series of competitions, maybe a competition this weekend and then 2 weeks after that, and maybe 3 weeks after that, a month after that, I'm like, listen, I got 4th place this time. And if I stay on my diet and continue to train while these guys go off their diet for 2 or 3 days and want to come back, I'm going to edge them out. Not that simple. But I said that and I did that 1 year for a whole year. I said, I'm beating myself up. I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to be disciplined in ways that these guys are not going to be. I'm sticking on it. And the dudes that kicked my butt, I came back and beat them. Wide margin. Made it look easy. I take that same mentality into everything that I do. I take the blame. I take the accountability for any shortcoming that I may have done. I'm going to make a correction, and we're going to keep coming back. I'm the hardest person on myself. You can't overhard me. I take a mental break sometime. But it all depends on me. How the world reacts with me depends on me. How I allow people to treat me, how I allow my finances to go, how my mind is, the peace of mind I have. I'm going to fight to keep my peace of mind. I'm going to sit here and buy up all these clothes and buy up all this jewelry and want to walk around and parade around and ain't got nothing in my pocket, wondering until my next check comes if I'm going to make it or not, but just to look. No. Not only be part of no social circle that requires me to be that way. So we all can push our nose up together and look at other people, but secretly hating on them. Who's he think he is? Because he has those shoes. Who, you got that bracelet. It must have cost a lot of money. I'm going to get one that costs more and got lint in your pocket. Everything starts with us. I know there are things in the world that will affect us, but we got to be tougher on ourselves. So bring it. Bring your stress. It's not going to beat me because I'm used to the stress I put on myself, the stress that builds, not that victim thing. I'm just going to sit here and be a victim. No, I'm fighting you back. If I got to do it this way, I got to do it that way. Whatever it takes. How many of us have that grit? I don't care how old I get. I would be tough that way. That's the only way to get it. It's the only way to get it. When I needed to get more ripped up and more developed and lose a little bit of body fat and whatever have you, I'd train, I'd go running at night, I'd ride my bicycle from Brooklyn into Queens and back from Queens into Brooklyn to train again, practice my posing, turn on the shower, and it's sweaty and hot, and I'm sweating, 2 a.m. Jesus, Lance, I haven't seen you for 6 months. Look at you. You've done a phenomenal change. Are you taking anything? Any supplements? Any drugs? No. You got to do what you got to do. Like earlier today, I strung together these different topics, and tomorrow will be another process. And I'm doing it from within. I don't care what YouTube says. You're going to have 30 hits in the next month on this video. So what? My output doesn't depend on that. I keep throwing punches. I keep taking the axe and chopping till the tree falls down. Let's get that mentality. Those who came before us, civil rights movement, and all, which should be human rights, but the things they had to endure, we got it easy now. You know, look at Malcolm X. Died broke. The community didn't take care of his wife, Betty Shabazz, as they should have. Divided we stand, united we fall. It's a shame how we do our own people and the unified mind that we should have. When you look at birds flying in formation, and one bird is in the front, then you got a bird behind him and 2 to the side, 3, then 5. It's like a pyramid, a triangle. And real quick, out of nowhere, they'll turn as though they have a unified mind. They have their individual mind, but they understand that they must move in unity. You understand? What do? You see fish in the water swimming together. You know the nature shows, and they put the camera under the water, you see how they move almost exactly. Their fins move, and they're in the same water, and they don't bump into each other. We're all connected. But we want to move because of our ego as an individual. And we are individuals, yes, we are. But we fight against the connection, the divine connection of nature that we have. And that's why we're crumbling and falling. Humanity and the humans, the HUE-MANS. We're the strongest, but we've been messed up. We're disconnected from the unified mind. We're not monolithic. We all have different tastes. We all don't go to the restaurant and order the same thing. No. We like different things, of course. But there's that core common denominator. Mathematics tells you that. You have fractions that have different denominators. But you can find a common denominator with that. If you have something that's 2/5 and something that's 1/10, well, you multiply that 2/5 by 2 to make it a 1/10, and now you can add the top parts. The problem is this society in this world has us fighting against the commonalities, the common threads, the unified mind. We want to get the benefits of the unified mind, but we don't want to put the work in. We don't want to defeat ourselves, our ego. Oh, that nigga ain't no good. I'm better than him. Who he think he is? And when something happens, we want to cry. You see what I mean? You see the birds, see the fish. I always talk about the ants. They hype me up all the time. It's nature. There's power in numbers. Even the so-called imposter small hats. It's been said on many shows. They don't charge interest on the loans that they give to each other. I'm not talking about niggardly hookups when you have a business. Hey man, give me the hookup. That's not, because you shouldn't be asking that. You should be supporting that business, and the business will support and undergird you. We complain when things fall short, but we don't have that unified mind. Look, maybe we never had it in recent times. We had more of it before. We damn sure don't have much of it now. No matter how much we posture and talk the talk, the online prophets and the online revolutionaries, it feels good to hear this good talk, but not many people are damn doing it. Not doing it. People talk about, the African scammers, they're going to scam you out your money. I have personally, I said on the show last night, personally, even helped promote one, not knowing. Promoted an ex-pastor from America, slick talking. If you saw the video, you know what I'm talking about. And promoted him to rip off our people. After he got what he got, he's gone, back in America. Ha, dumb Negroes. Romanticize the dream of Africa, and I got over on all y'all. So much of that. That's why I move alone and solo. There's so much. You don't know. You don't know. But I'm good though, because I got radar out my backside. I already see them coming. Won't be bothered with y'all. Oh, he's antisocial and he's not about the black this and the black that. Well, you ain't either. Trying to get over on people. One thing, ain't nobody out here in all my years, my quarter century plus time online can say I tried to get over on anybody. I tried to take something from somebody, beg something from somebody, and use somebody. And no. And don't AI me and try to make it seem, you know what I mean? Don't put nothing fake out there. I stand on that. Everybody don't have to like me. There's stories out there, whatever. I have to get rid of you. I don't want that around me. I want good feelings around me. There's only 3 people that come around every now and then. I'll settle for that as opposed to 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people. I don't want no movement like that of fraudulent people. I don't want that energy around me. Oh, if you knew it, things I see. I'm not going to say names now. Maybe one day we'll all have a private show that the world doesn't hear with select few people. You can ask me all the questions and I'll tell you, not for the purpose of gossip or anything like that, but yeah. These are some shark-infested waters out here on the internet. Trust and believe. You have some imbalanced people out here also that can be very dangerous. Big time. I can only tell you, you wouldn't believe what I've observed and often with these entities. And that's why people say, well, you move a little different than you did 10 years ago. Yeah, you would too. You would too. And even before AI, some folks are AI before AI because they're not real. Oh yeah, they breathe and they bleed and they're real. Let's think up your bathroom, they're real. But they fake. They come online just for that because they know they ain't crap in real life. So let's doctor up a nice image and whatever. No. And got followers too, believing in it. It's always been that way. Especially we as a people, we're always looking for something external instead of conquering ourselves. I always say, conquer yourself, build yourself up. Is that wrong? But too many of us are waiting for the savior. And too many shysters are constructing themselves and building themselves up to be the savior. You know how many guys I know that were incarcerated and they found the hustle of religion? And 1 or 2 months after getting out, they drive in somebody's car, living with some woman, and they're past to this or past to that. And they want to witness to me. Come on, man. Just 2 or 3 months ago, you were giving blowjobs for cookies, man. What are you talking about? You out here condemning people. Get out of here, man. I'm not saying people can't change, but maybe I'm too hard. I've seen too much. Maybe I'm messed up. Maybe I need therapy from all the things I've seen. I'm speaking to somebody very close to me who hasn't seen certain worlds. And I tell her some of the things that I have observed or experienced through other people or whatever, and the masks that people put on, man, unbelievable, just to navigate and appear as normal. An old girlfriend's father, I don't even know how to tell this story. There was a developmentally delayed brother, older, AKA back in the 70s, oh, he's retarded. You know, that's what we used to say. You can't say that now, but I said it. And he used to tell us how the father would violate him in his backside. And it was painful to hear. And I've told stories about this guy on a lighter level, you know, because I befriended him. Something about my spirit, he always felt he could open up. And he told us one night, the father was violating him anally. And he said that he read somewhere that if he takes a bowel movement during that happening, that's going to scare or stop the person from continuing on with the violation. So somehow, even though he was blocked up at that time by his father, which is sick to say, he was successful in that to a point. The father told him, this is what the father said. Oh, you think you're stopping me? That's more lubrication. It's even better. Oh my God. And he cried so hard. And he grabbed me. Man, I felt like crying. Your own father? This is the kind of exchange you have with him? So he was messed up sexually in his life, and he was developmentally delayed. And he didn't have any real friends. And it hurt me. And it's so funny because that was in the years when I was, you know, getting my stride in bodybuilding. And he had a Polaroid camera. And he said, please, you know, when you, because with his old girlfriend, she was interested in it too. And with my old girl, his sister and my old girlfriend, before competition, she said, okay, let's see what you look like. And she would give me good advice. And so he knocked the door and he was like, oh, wow, I never knew you really looked like that, whatever. Can I take a picture of you? I said, okay, because he admired me and I was his buddy. And when was it done? That was 81. I had a good year in bodybuilding in 82. That was 81. So I didn't look like the way I looked like the next year. I looked pretty good. And he put it up in his room. And life happens, and eventually me and her broke up, whatever. So that's in New York City. Now I moved down to Florida. And this had to be somewhere around maybe 2005. It's about 2005. Roughly around 25 years or so after I saw them. And so somehow we connected because of Facebook or some whatever. And it wasn't a thing where, oh, I'm gonna get with you, I'm gonna come out there. But they moved down to Florida too. So I said one day, because they lived in Brevard County, I said, I'll leave Orange County and come out there and meet y'all. And it was her and her brother. Wouldn't you believe when I got there? He looked the same, just a little gray hair, whatever. And he said, Lance. And that's the brother who used to call me Lamps. If you know the story about Lamps, I'll tell you again another time. He used to call me Lamps. Lamps, you wouldn't believe this. Come to my room, I want to show you something. He opened the door. He had one picture on the wall. The Polaroid of me from 1981 doing a bodybuilding pose. And he cried and he said, you're the only person who treated me really right in his own way, because he spoke slurred a little bit, you know. He messed up his words sometimes, but I understood him. But you see how sometimes when you treat somebody a certain way, you might not ever see them again. You might think that they forgot you. But at the end of the day, the way you made them feel, they'll never forget. And even if you didn't have a picture of me to look at, the whole wall was clear. It was a thumbtack in the white part, the top part, you know, the picture was right there. And he cried. And he asked if we can take another picture. And now, by now, you know, smartphones weren't really super smart, but they were smarter. You can take pictures. So we took a picture. And I said, let's hope that another 25 years don't go by before we see each other again. And somehow, somewhere, I lost contact. But that's how it is. Wherever he is, if he's still alive, or maybe not, the connection is there. But most of us are so worried about designer this and looking and flossing and so on. So what about connecting with the real human being, the real person? Somebody that most of the world would say is below you. I don't have to spend time with that person. He's retarded or he's broke. That's why down out. A lot of people around here don't have much. Throw on my Crocs and my shorts and my t-shirt and take a little walk. I'm not Lance Scurv at that point. I'm just a guy who vibes on a human level with people out of love and that connection and experience in life and learning about myself and still conquering things inside of myself that I have to conquer. That's the main thing, to be better. So when my time is up, I don't have anything in me that can't go through. You know, a person shoplifting, they try to run through the doors and they have little sensors and security grabs them. But there's things inside of you, you know, you can't filter it out. You better leave it here. Take care of it here. That's like going on a beautiful vacation for a month. But when you're on the plane flying out, you're like, oh my God, I forgot to take out the garbage. And there's nobody you can call. You get back home after a wonderful vacation and you forget, and it's all these flies and it's stinking and nah. I want to go on my vacation, my transition. I want to go light. I want to go light. Anyway, I was kind of rambling, but I like doing that sometime. And I'm just glad that you all are here. And I'm going to sign off. It's 10:54 here in West Africa, in the eastern region of Ghana. But my heart is still with you, even though my body's here. My heart is still with you. Not to talk like I'm big or bigger than anybody, but the world is ours. No matter who tries to convince us that we're less or we don't deserve or we're underlings, no. This world was ours. It is ours. You know, it's been hijacked, and we're fooling ourselves, and our minds think that, oh, we're less than. And even people who talk the righteous, strong stuff, a lot of them still tap dance for the oppressor. No, you are all that in a bag of chips. And people will get mad at me for saying that, because I know I'm all that in a bag of chips. You say you were made by someone so mighty, the creator of the universe, and you're going to be walking around inferior? No. You are the best. If you're insulted at that, then you'll be insulted at the fact that I say, I come from a bloodline of the best. I wasn't created to be inferior to nobody else. I'm not in competition with anybody. I'm here to be the best me that I can be. That's the challenge. The hell with all that propaganda and all that stuff. It won't work on me. And people see the fire in my eyes that way, and they know I'm not the one. I am not the one. No way. You know, so let me slide on out of here. Wet my whistle. My throat is really dry now. So much love to you all. And again, Sister Queen Diane and everybody else, on to the next one. You know, yes, G-Max Supreme. Wow. I'm glad you're here, even though I'm signing out. You were probably already here for a while, but that's cool. I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to keep doing it this way. And we're going to have some good topics to talk about. I'll get the downloads when I wake up. Leave us better off and better than we were today. And I thank you for being here. Much love to you all.